Patriots crushed the Dolphins Sunday, but that faded from relevance after a Sports Illustrated story that featured allegations against Brown that ranged from disturbing to bizarre. There were retellings of allegations of domestic violence against the mothers of his children. A woman alleges Brown approached her while she was working in his home, and she says he was naked except for a washcloth he was holding over his crotch. Many claim Brown refused to pay them for services rendered, and a doctor claims Brown repeatedly passed gas in his face while testing Brown's body fat. Pablo, should this story drive the Patriots to part ways with Brown?
Probably. And I say that because we're, again, not judging like what is in the heart of Antonio Brown, but we're actually evaluating the question that every NFL team actually asks itself in situations like this. How likely is that guy to get us in trouble? It's not what he's done in the past, because what he's done in the past, according to this history of stuff, is extreme. It's just that what does that extreme history of a deeply unreliable person who is doing perhaps indefensible things, what does that tell us about the likelihood that he's going to do something like that that'll get us in trouble? And my sense is it's pretty high.
Well, I think it is high, but the question is, when will such a thing happen, right? I think the Patriots are betting on a couple of things that I picked up from that story. One, they talked about Brown's tendency to attach himself to authority figures. And so I think that they are betting on the specter of Bill Belichick, right? Like this, the ultimate authority figure, will be able to reinforce Brown. And I don't want to say keep him in line per se, but like, you will want to please me, therefore you will do all these football things. The other thing that I seem to notice is that the vast majority of these things that they talk about happening with Antonio Brown happen in the offseason. So if you're the Patriots, you are betting on the idea that we will be able to keep him in the walls of this facility enough to not do anything until after we can comfortably cut ties with you. Because what is clear to me from reading that is something like this is going to happen again with this dude. It's just a matter of when. And I think the Patriots are betting on when being after February, and then it is no longer their problem.
You lay out a good case there. My main concern, though, would be that that case still hinges on a logic. And if you go through all of these lawsuits, all of these people who are suing Antonio Brown, there's not much logic there because these amounts are like $7,000, four-figure amounts, right? We're talking about artists, videographers, chefs, a fish tank installer guy. Like, go down the list of assistants and all that stuff, social media managers. If you're Antonio Brown, you have to... Who is he listening to,
right,
man?
But here's the thing. I'm not saying that based on logic. I'm saying that based on a pattern. Now, correlation, causation becomes a tricky thing because I'm not sure that some of the things that happen in Oakland are like totally beyond Antonio, like within Antonio Brown's control.
Fair.
So I think you're there. But I also find something very interesting about that story, which is there's a run of domestic violence incidents there, and this is after we had our national come to Jesus moment where we supposedly take these things seriously. It's not like those things they mentioned in those stories never had come up before, right? All our new sensibilities and everything that we said we had about that, we didn't apply those to any of these cases here. I don't have a great answer for it. I'm putting myself in a position as one of the people who did the same thing. But for us to then go and talk so much about the people he didn't pay money to, that's small potatoes in the story when you think about it. When you got stories about him like pushing people, but well, you know, like, and people wind up with cuts after as a result, and these allegedly in these repeated phone calls. That's the part that if the Patriots are going to do something right now, that would be the time to do it, and that would be something to do this based off of. But I do worry that we're going to get too caught up in the weird stuff with him, like not paying people $7,000 and farting in the man's face all the time. Those are the things that are like, wait a minute, what's going on with him?
All in the last several years, all involving the mothers of his children, all of which should be taken super seriously.